Hello, I'm Josh Hinds. I'm the director of Artist's Impression, and I'm here today to talk a little bit about the warm-up process for our rehearsals. The thing about every rehearsal we do is that it's already quite late in the day, because this is the unfortunate point with our rehearsals that we don't get a lot of chance to do them earlier on. So everyone's already had a hard day of work or study and has been doing things already. So when they come to our rehearsals, the first thing everyone does is take their coats off, drop their bags, and sit down because they want to relax. It's 6 o'clock in the evening normally. Most people are at home, getting ready to have dinner at this point, but we're still out for another couple of hours, which, to credit to them, they always do a lot of hard work. But to get from that position where they don't want to do anything apart from go home and go to bed to a position where they're able to work, that's where the warm-up is so integral, because without it, it'd be very difficult to do anything productive or particularly effective or preparation-wise for the show. Because the first thing that's very important to with the warm-up is make sure that everyone's got energy, building the energy up. That's why I've always broken down my warm-ups into three distinct parts. There's the physical warm-up part, which is often drama games to do with the ensemble, so everyone gets nice and tight and comfortable with each other. There's focus warm-up games, so that everyone's minds, once the energy is up, are nice and focused, they're willing to do work, and they're willing to kind of concentrate on something again at 6 o'clock in the evening. And vocal, which for an actor is probably one of the most important parts of the warm-up, because if the vocals aren't warmed up and they aren't prepared, then pronunciation can go off, lines can be thrown, you can miss the little detailed things, and they tend to mispronounce, which throws off their confidence. So once all three of these things are done, they become much, much more comfortable working, especially in a rehearsal environment. A very good warm-up we have with our actors as well is, spoke vocally wise, is tongue twisters and word games. Often these help them warm up the mouth, the larynx, the vocal cords, everything. So it's not just them to feel more comfortable speaking, it's so that they can get an idea of everything they're doing. One of the reasons it's so important for me as a director as well to have a cast that is fully warmed up is that they become a lot more responsive to my direction as well as each other, because we've had a few brief rehearsals, test rehearsals as it were, and in previous shows I've done ones where we haven't had warm-ups, and it's as integral and essential to always have them. Even on the day of the tech and dress run, even on the show day itself, it's always vital to have a warm-up beforehand if there's time. If there's not, then you have to go with it, do a very brief shake-up, make sure everyone's good and ready to go. But if you have the time, even if it's only 5 minutes, make sure you can have a warm-up. That's the one thing I've learned throughout this process and throughout the shows I've done in the past, because without that warm-up, people tend to lose focus, they forget their lines, they forget the blocking, they're not paying attention, because they've not been warmed up, they've not been focused, they've not had their attention brought from the back of their head to the forefront of what you're doing. And that's why it's so important for me as well. And for actors as well, if they don't feel like they're having a particularly good time, the first thing they're going to want to do is go off and sit down, especially if they're already tired. But once the energy's up, if they mess up, they will do exactly the opposite. They often try and push themselves just that little bit harder, just hard enough so that they can keep going and trying to get it right, not just for us as a production crew and as a director for the show itself, but they often do it to get it right because they want to do it. It gives them a bit of almost a competitive edge against themselves. They are competing with themselves to get it right with every push they do. But if I give you an example of one of our focus exercises, numbers are a great one to do. People counting, because that uses your mind, you've got to focus on your numbers, especially when it's an ensemble piece. One exercise we have where everyone stands in a big round circle, eyes closed, standing straight, good body language, breathing properly, and they have to count from 1 to however high I need them to. Often it's between about 50 and 80. And the rules are simple. They need to get to that number. If two people say the number at the same time, they start again. And this is a really good way to get the group to be more aware of each other, more through kind of sensing each other's presence and having to be aware of each other, not just by seeing it. They can't nod. They can't say, "Are you going to go yet? Not yet. Me, maybe. Shall we go now?" No, they can't do that. They have to be completely focused and completely aware of what the group is doing without seeing them. They have to sense them effectively. And that always, I find, tightens up an ensemble really, really well. They work much better as a group after exercises like that as well. And the difference is clear because before that, everyone might still be talking, they may still be having minor conversations throughout the warm-up, but the second the focus exercises are finished, no more conversations, no one's talking, everyone's good and ready to go, everyone's focused, everyone is in a complete mindset where they're ready to get onto the task. And that's why warm-ups are so important, because once everyone's mind is on the task, once they've got their energy up, once their minds are on what they're doing, and once they feel they can actually say it vocally properly, and talk with a bit more diction, everything's good and ready, and any rehearsal will be productive as long as you have those 3 stages of your warm up. I find. I mean, some people tend to maybe just do 1 or 2 of those stages. The energy one is good, especially for most shows. As long as they got the energy, that's fantastic. But also, I've learned with warm ups is not pushing them too hard in the warm up itself. A warm up doesn't need to last more than 15 minutes, 20 at the most. If it's anything more than that, then you're losing rehearsal time for a start, and you're losing a lot of your not actors' confidence. Sorry, your actors' patience. I mean, your actors will lose their patience because they will want to get on. They'll be bored of doing warm-up exercises, and by the time you get to their scenes, they'll be like, finally, and the energy's dropped again. The focus will be lessened than what it is. So, good brief warm-ups, getting everything good and sharp, and then going with it. And like I said, it's especially helpful because we have such late rehearsals as a production. It would be really nice to have them early in the day, but that's what we've got. So we make the best of it, and it always comes off positively. If you've got any questions, then just post them in the comments below, drop us an email, and I'll give you a more detailed idea of what we do in our warm-ups, and maybe even do some videos perhaps. Okay, this is Josh Hinds, signing out.